East League Boxing Repeat. We are back. We are in review mode. We are reviewing the well, I was going to come to it, possibly potential controversial stoppage between Jack Catterall and EKOW. Jack Catterall's obviously won that fight in the 11th round with 11th round stoppage. We're going to touch a little bit on that, and then obviously we'll go into a bit about the landscape afterwards. But I'd just like to firstly say thank you very much for joining me. Obviously, as we've seen there, EKOW, was in some ways coming back into the fight, was outclassed possibly for the first half. The stoppage where
Mm.
he's got his hand down, he's got back up. Jack Catterall's caught him a couple of times again, and obviously the fight's then been stopped. I mean, can I just get your initial reaction to sort of what we've seen there actually as a performance and as a stoppage, and then we'll unpick it further. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, it's that's not the stoppage. Wow. I mean, I think I think they kind of said it as a slip. But I think to be fair, Catterall did actually catch him, and then he kind of went down. So obviously he was unprepared for the next attack. So I think obviously bamboozled him, and then yeah, I mean he just didn't let him off the hook, did he? It was like combination. I mean, he caught him about five shots there, unanswered, and yeah, out of the ring. And for a moment there, I think everyone was fearing something worse. But look, he got back up, which is good. But yeah, someone was, coming back like it is an absolute machine, isn't he? So it's coming back at Catterall, but Catterall looked, wow, I mean, he looked, you can tell the difference in his new training regime, the tactics, everything else. No, it was a really, really 4 rounds. He was, even the first 6 rounds, he was kind of dominating. But yeah, wow, that stoppage was something pretty special. And even the fourth round knockdown looked like he wasn't going to actually
Mm.
survive that. So yeah, it's quite much more entertaining fight than I think most fought, to be honest.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think with Jack Catterall, I think people have been I think fair to say, people have said you suggest, very, very good fighter, but not necessarily in the most engaging and entertaining fights. Obviously, that Taylor fight aside, tends to be very technical, very good, but not necessarily have the power to sort of, well, until
Mm.
this point, obviously, to kind of really kind of light up the spectacle as other fighters can. But I suppose we talk a little bit about I suppose Jack Catterall, the evolution of Jack Catterall. Obviously, he left his
Mm.
previous trainers. Obviously, Jamie Moore, Nigel Travis is now training with Derek Ennis, and obviously we see. I suppose, yeah, I'd like to get your comments really on whether you think we see the sort of stylistic change possibly in Jack Catterall there. Maybe some people suggesting online that he was a bit more exciting, or whether you think it's a bit too early to sort of comment on that at this stage.
Nah, I think instant impact. Honestly, I think there was no doubt in his technique. Look, he's a fantastic boxer, very elusive though, right? I mean, he wasn't a very attack minded. I think Jack was almost too good for his own good. If he could keep off you and keep you at at length and beat you that way, he would. I think the Taylor fight was probably slightly different to the rematch. I think what we saw was him just attacking more. And lucky that left, the left hand is an absolute weapon, as he saw today. And ESSUMAN, to be fair, was a good opponent for him to demonstrate it because look, he's going to keep coming at you. So Jack's going to pick him off. But no, I think there's really good signs for him. And look, he's in front of Turkey Al He obviously wanted to impress him. He's been wanting an opportunity, so he obviously did that. And I think one thing that was good, he didn't stop looking for the stoppage. He tried to get that. You could tell. And even when he was getting tired and you could see that ESSUMAN getting back at him, he wasn't stopping, and then he picked up the pace again when he saw the opportunity, went for the kill, and would have Catterall done that, and the Jamie Moore, not so sure. So I think Innes already impacts there, still ways to go, but really, really positive.
No, I think you actually make a very profound point there. Like a lot of I was a bit concerned during the fight around whether Jack Catterall would kind of ease off a little bit, obviously with the stoppage and
Mm.
like kind of leading through the first half. I thought, are we going to sort of just see him kind of cruise down the second half and obviously get to sort of the UD victory and sort of be content with that. But like you say, he wasn't content with that necessarily. He did keep forcing the action. You mentioned there obviously around EKOW Usman as a good style actually to kind of showcase some of that stuff that Jack Catterall's possibly been working on. Obviously, Eka got into that position with a victory over Josh Taylor as well. I just
Mm.
wonder. Just a comment really on whether you think we can read too much into that as EKOW Usman as an opponent. Obviously, he's fought mostly around British level. This is quite a big step up for him. Whether it was kind of what you'd expect actually, or whether you kind of think, like you say, good matchmaking, but now on to bigger things for Jack Catterall.
Yeah, definitely bigger things. I think SM2 Fez, was a good opponent for his first fight under the new trainer. I think what Jack probably wanted to show was, his new sort of a more attacking style, which he clearly did. Esserman's a tough guy, so it's going to be going late in the fight. I mean, you get stronger as it seems as the fight goes, as they showed against Taylor and others. But yeah, as you say, look, there's levels. I think Taylor, yeah, I think realistically, Taylor was kind of at the very tail end there. You could tell against Esserman he wasn't the same fighter. So I think what Catterall proved today is that he's a level above. He's obviously world level. Arguably beat Taylor twice. Josh Taylor, one of the best, undisputed champion. So I think if anything, Catterall, he should be back into a title hunt now. I mean, look, I think he's disappointed with that Barrios loss. I think he needs some confidence. He needed a change. Good for him. He's changed everything up to give himself the best shot. Gone to America. He's not comfortable. He clearly wants a proper attempt again. So no, I think hopefully we'll see him back in world title, sort of recognition pretty shortly.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think that division is where you've got obviously the champions. You've got obviously Crocker's in there now for British
Mm.
interest. Barrios, Romero, Norman Jr. I think which of those, if we're looking at maybe Jack Catterall getting in and around there, maybe for a title shot. I mean, I'd just like to get your thoughts before we finish on kind of how you'd rank maybe Jack Catterall against some of those guys. Whether you think the biggest fight possibly would be against someone like a Crocker, or whether you think that he'd have a better chance of beating one of the other guys, or how do you necessarily, if you were managing Jack Catterall and all those options were kind of laid before you, which would you advise him to, which route would you advise him to take for a world title out of this
He's
segment?
always going to have that Barrios thing in the back of his mind, right? He didn't show up really. He didn't. I think I was listening to Shane McGugan with Bunty's podcast. It was a similar thing. He was just saying that he didn't really go for it, and I think a bit disappointed. So I think they definitely won that one. I mean, Crocker makes kind of complete sense. Honestly, I think in a lot of ways, but I think to be honest, Jack Catterall should be anti-chance against any of them. Either wherever he gets the opportunity, right? It's all down to those governing bodies, those sanctioning bodies, and where he ranks. But you got to give him a shot against anybody. I don't think there's anyone there that is like streets ahead of him. It's obviously it's going to be a step up. It's just again, is he always going to be that naily man? I mean, that's the key for Jack. He's got to prove himself in that actual world title fight. I think to be fair against any of them, he could do it. But I think there'll be something about that Barrios loss that's going to irk him. He'll want to get back and correct that.
No, absolutely. I think you mentioned that there. Obviously, Jack Catterall is kind of sadly still thought of as kind of nearly man. Obviously, what happened with Josh Taylor when he was robbed
Mm.
kind of that first fight. We really, I think, one of the fighters really in boxing, especially from British interest as well, that you just want to see win a world title. You feel like deserves to at least win a world title from what's happened to him. So hopefully, he can get that fight against one of those champions. Like I said, Crocker, Romero. I think Romero may be a bit unlikely. Obviously, they seem to go a different way. But Barrios is a winnable fight. Crocker's also a massive fight if he can get that one as well. So yeah, I'd
Yeah.
like to see it. Sadly, that's all we've got time for. We're obviously responding here to Jack Catterall's victory, 11th round victory over EKOW Usman. Controversial, and that will obviously be going on social media tonight. People have their opinions. I've already seen, kind of quite a diverse range of opinions on whether some people saying it was legal, some people saying it was illegal, some people saying it should be disqualified. So that will, of course, go on. But that is all we've got time for. Like and subscribe to the channel, guys, as always. Check out the rest of obviously the reviews we've got coming from tonight, but obviously Big Fight Breakdowns and other great content as well. And all I have to say is, for me is thank you very much for joining me. And for guys, thank you very much for watching.
Cheers.